Cory MacDonald. I'm the co-founder and engagement director for the CRF. I was diagnosed in 1968 at the age of 4. At the time I was diagnosed, I was the youngest person ever found with CHM. And so I spent those years all the way through the age of up to the age of 19 going to Boston every year. And my test results established the baseline for progression rates for CHM through adolescence. So I've been at the research end of things for a very long time. Yeah, well, that's because what happened was that I had a cousin. I have a very large family, and I have a cousin who was 22 years older than I, Bobby. He was in the Coast Guard, and he started having issues with the glare coming off the water on sunny days. He was getting headaches, and so they sent him for testing. They diagnosed him with RP, and of course they drummed him out of the service, and they sent him to Boston, where the late Dr. Elliot Burson looked at him and said, "No, you don't have RP, you have choroideremia." And of course, back then they didn't know a ton about it, but they did know it ran in families, that it was X-linked. And so everyone in my family, all my aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone got called in for testing. And so that's why I wasn't even symptomatic at the age of 4. But when Dr. Burson looked in the back of my eye, he could see the beginnings of what they call the clumping of the pigment, which is when the RPE layer starts breaking apart and clumping together. And that was beginning in me at 4 years old. So that's how I got diagnosed so early. How did I navigate CHM and what issues have I been through? Oh gosh, there's a lot of years to go through. Well, for one, I was very lucky in growing up in a large family that a lot of people were affected with CHM. And I had many cousins that were 20, 30 years older than me, and I was able to watch them as a young CHMer and saw how they dealt with life. And they dealt with their life with the attitude of, this is it. I'm going to do everything I can to live a good life, keep my head up, and have a sense of humor about it. And that was, I couldn't have had a better upbringing in the CHM world than what I got. And then, but you still have your issues. You know, I had night blindness, but you learned little workarounds with that back when I was little, and younger. Things like counting the number of streetlights on the streets of my neighborhood to help me get from point A to point B at night. Back when I was younger, cars had chrome bumpers, and the street lights would reflect off the chrome. So I couldn't tell you what kind of car it was or what color it was, but I knew there was a car there because I could see the reflection of the chrome. So that helped. So little things like that, little tricks you learn to get through that part of it. And then the periphery loss, I guess the first time that I played volleyball as a teenager into my early 20s. And that was the first time that I gave up something due to CHM, because I kept losing the ball. Because you're moving in one direction, the ball's moving in another, and you got to try to find the ball as you're moving, and it just didn't work anymore. So I had to give that up. And then, I've had to walk away from a couple of different careers. But we have a mantra with our group, it's adjust and press on. And that's what you do. The changes come, yes, they're bad, but, I work with patients. I've been working with patients for 30 years. And I tell them all the same thing. This isn't a wall, it's a speed bump. It might slow you down a bit. It might make you change your direction a little bit, but it can only stop you if you let it. Living with a rare disease is a life changer, but it's not a life ender. Saving sight is our vision. Building hope is how we get there. Donate today at www.curechm.org.